Hey everyone! Welcome to Update X24H, your go-to channel for the latest news, hottest dramas, breaking stories, and all the buzz from the world of entertainment. We're here to keep you updated, entertained, and always in the loop. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing family, because here at Update X24H, we bring you the news that matters, the drama you love, and the stories you can't miss. Thanks for being part of our community. Let's stay connected, stay updated, and keep the good vibes rolling. What if one quiet, unscripted moment between two stars said more than 1,000 interviews ever could? Tonight, the internet is on fire, because Song Zuer may have just confirmed everything fans have been whispering for months. But it's not what she said, it's what she did. And if you think Liu Yuning was the only one showing boyfriend energy, think again, because this time it was Song Zuer who flipped the script. Let's dive in. It began with a moment so subtle most would have missed it. No stage lights, no red carpet, no cameras officially rolling, just a quiet corner backstage where the noise of fame seemed to fade, and something far more human appeared in its place. Liu Yuning sat quietly, eyes lowered to his phone, looking like any other person finding stillness in a busy world. And then Song Zuer appeared. Not the glamorous star, but someone real, familiar, and thoughtful. She didn't say a word. She simply walked over and gently placed a warm drink in his hands. It wasn't random. It was his favorite. A specific herbal brew he once casually mentioned during a live stream months ago. It was the kind of gesture that speaks louder than any public declaration ever could. She knew what comforted him. She remembered. And more importantly, she acted on it, without needing to be seen or acknowledged. Then she sat beside him, leaned her head softly against his shoulder, and closed her eyes for a moment, perhaps just resting, perhaps needing that space as much as he did. But it was in that pause, in that quiet lean, that something profound unfolded. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't performed. It was natural, familiar, like they had done it 100 times before, away from the world's gaze. This wasn't fan service. It wasn't a scene rehearsed for effect. It was two people, clearly comfortable in each other's presence, sharing something quiet, unspoken, and deeply personal. And in that stillness, many found their answer. Not through words or headlines, but in the silent, meaningful language of trust and care. Sometimes it's not what people say that reveals the truth, but what they do when no one's watching. In the world of celebrities, where every smile can be rehearsed and every gesture carefully choreographed, genuine moments are rare. That's why what Song Zuer did carries so much weight. It wasn't a grand romantic gesture. It wasn't captured during a performance or meant for fan attention. It was quiet, intentional, and deeply telling. When Song Zuer handed Liu Yuning his favorite herbal drink, it wasn't just an act of kindness. It was a reflection of memory and emotional intimacy. She remembered a small detail he once mentioned. She acted on it without making a show. That one act conveyed thoughtfulness, care, and a sense of familiarity that's hard to fake. What followed spoke even louder. Sitting down beside him and gently leaning her head on his shoulder wasn't a move for the cameras. It was a gesture that showed trust, comfort, and closeness. Liu Yuning didn't flinch. He didn't act surprised. He simply accepted it as if it was the most natural thing in the world, because maybe for them it is. These small actions paint a much clearer picture than any public statement ever could. They reveal a connection that doesn't need words or confirmation. They show two people existing in quiet understanding of each other, grounded in real moments rather than attention-seeking behavior. And in a world where love is often performative, their silence, and their shared gestures, feel profoundly sincere. Sometimes what's left unsaid is exactly what we need to hear. In every unfolding story there are patterns, quiet signals hidden between the headlines, that only become clear when you look closely. With Song Zuer and Liu Yuning, the connection wasn't built on one viral moment. It was quietly constructed over time, in ways so subtle that most people barely noticed. But when those pieces come together, they reveal something far more intimate than any public confession could. Over the past few months, fans have started to connect the dots. Matching backgrounds in photos taken miles apart but minutes apart. Identical accessories worn without explanation. Captions that seem cryptic at first, until read in the context of each other's posts. These aren't coincidences. They're signals, soft, carefully placed moments that suggest something more is happening behind the scenes. Even during interviews when asked about trust or support, both have given answers that seem oddly aligned, never naming each other, yet speaking as if they share a common understanding. It's in the way their words echo each other's, in how they both speak of a friend who feels like home, without ever saying the name aloud. It's the kind of emotional choreography that doesn't happen unless it's real. For those who've been paying attention, the truth hasn't been shouted, it's been whispered. Through repeated choices, shared silences, and unspoken connections, the pattern becomes undeniable. It's not about proving something to the public. It's about living honestly within a bond that doesn't need validation. And perhaps that's what makes it feel so authentic, because love, when it's real, doesn't need to announce itself. It simply exists quietly, in the patterns that only the heart can fully recognize. There are certain moments that feel small on the surface, fleeting, almost ordinary, but somehow carry the weight of something far greater. In the case of Liu Yuning and Song Zuer, that quiet backstage exchange wasn't just a tender interaction between two people. It became a mirror reflecting something deeper. The possibility of love unfolding in real time, away from the chaos of public attention, and grounded in something authentic. In that one instant, when Song Zuer gently offered him a drink and rested her head against his shoulder, the world seemed to fall away. What remained was a simple truth. This was no longer about rumors or speculation. This was about how comfort looks when it's real, how emotional intimacy reveals itself not through declarations, but through presence, through remembering someone's needs, through instinctively knowing when words are unnecessary. That moment wasn't significant because it was dramatic. It mattered because it wasn't. It was quiet, human, honest. And in a world built on spectacle, it reminded everyone watching what real connection actually looks like. It made people believe again in the kind of love that doesn't chase the spotlight, but instead finds strength in stillness and subtlety. For fans, this wasn't just a glimpse into a possible relationship. It was a reminder that the truest expressions of care are often the softest ones. That love, when it exists without performance, can still captivate millions. And maybe that's the heart of this story. It's not about whether they're a couple. It's about what they showed us. That even a single quiet moment can hold a universe of meaning when it's born from genuine affection. When the video surfaced, the internet didn't just react. It pulsed with a collective sense of recognition. It wasn't just a trending moment. It was a ripple through millions of hearts who, even from behind screens, could feel that something genuine had taken place. Across platforms, from comment threads to fan edits, the response wasn't just excitement, it was emotional investment. People weren't reacting to fame. They were responding to authenticity. For many, it was more than just seeing a sweet gesture. It was witnessing something rare: vulnerability. That short, silent exchange between Song Zuer and Liu Yuning sparked something deeply human in its viewers. A longing for connection, the joy of being seen, the quiet power of intimacy not staged for the world but captured by chance. Fans didn't need confirmation. What they saw was already enough. Suddenly, timelines filled with side-by-side videos, comparing their natural interactions to those of real-life couples. Emotional body language analysts, casual observers, and dedicated followers all agreed. This wasn't about playing roles. This was real chemistry, built on trust and tenderness. People from across the world, different languages, different cultures, felt united by the same thought. Love like that speaks universally. Yet what stood out most wasn't the speculation, it was the warmth. The comments weren't invasive or demanding. They were hopeful, supportive, and full of affection. As if, in that moment, people weren't just shipping two stars, they were rooting for something pure to survive in an industry often shaped by image. The internet didn't just react, it felt. And that feeling, raw and unscripted, is what truly made this moment unforgettable. What lies beyond the surface of rumors is often more meaningful than the noise itself. In the case of Liu Yuning and Song Zuer, the real story doesn't rest in whether they're secretly dating or simply close friends. What truly matters is what their quiet moments have stirred in us. A reminder of the power of genuine connection, in a world that too often mistakes performance for truth. We live in a time when so much is curated. Lives are filtered, gestures are rehearsed, and emotions are packaged for public approval. But every now and then, something slips through the cracks, something unpolished and deeply human. That's what this story gave to people. Not headlines or confessions but presence. A pause. A soft exchange that seemed untouched by the need to impress. And in that space, people found something real to hold on to. The way Song Zuer looks at Liu Yuning. The way he seems to anticipate her needs without a word. These are not gestures born out of publicity. They are signs of mutual respect and familiarity. Whether or not they ever confirm a relationship, what they've already shared with the world is a portrait of tenderness. And that alone is rare. Why does it matter? Because love in its quietest form teaches us something. It reminds us to pay attention. It tells us that sincerity still exists in an industry often driven by spectacle. And it allows us, even if just for a moment, to believe in something unspoken but deeply felt. In the end, it's not about the rumors. It's about the feeling they leave behind. A feeling that says, even behind the curtain, something honest is still possible. And that, more than anything, is what stays with us. So, is Song Zuer treating Liu Yuning like a boyfriend? Maybe. Maybe not. But one thing's for sure. What they share has captured the imagination and the hearts of fans all over the world. If you believe in small moments that carry big meaning, if you love stories that unfold slowly, naturally, and beautifully, backhand index pointing right, then don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more deep dives into the most touching, human stories behind the headlines. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like, leave a comment with your thoughts, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new update. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and never stop believing in real connection.